We did it. We tackled a task that really should have not been able to be done. Things are truly not too good to be true. This is one example, but I want to re-emphasize that in a big way. Of the McLaren home, I'll give you guys an update on what that went like. Calvin got some batteries in the 7.3. We'll try to touch upon that. If not, it'll be a dedicated video tomorrow because I want to run through the test of time of that truck with us for the past 23 years. That's an 03 7.3 that we've been maintaining, servicing, and doing work on since it was new. All this today. Run the intro. Guys, we did it. The smile on my face makes me happy to say we accomplished something not only in a timeline, but in taking a customer from a non-believer to being a believer. And that means the most. From a before to an after. And I can't say enough about the teamwork through all the different avenues of what you guys see and don't see, behind the scenes, but what Brian and Daniel have produced and put out with the help of lots of donor vehicles and lots of time and lots of years of trial and error is phenomenal, what the shop can do. This customer was a before. The before was just like any other truck he'd driven before. And he said, if it doesn't drive me better, I don't want to own a square body. It's about a square body. It's not about us. Square bodies didn't drive good. He said, I want to drive like what you represent the trucks drive like. And we were able to give him an example. And I'm going to ramble a little bit about this because of the fact it's a perfect example of seeing is believing and driving is truly believing after one of these trucks are done. And this was a hard to please customer, for sure. And he left happy. Everything was what it's supposed to be. Again, it's going to get a little bit long, a little bit rambling, but you guys are going to want to see all the things that happened on that truck in 20-some days to take it from what you saw to what now is a top-notch driving, riding, cold air-conditioned truck. McLaren home, and I'll give you guys a report on that. I'll tell you now, though, pretty mediocre for a performance car. I've been in better, but I'll tell you about it. Here's the focus of conversation today. This customer arrived in here with a blank canvas just over 20 days ago. So, Jay, we got an idea what I want. I'm flying up. Lo and behold, didn't know he was flying up to the private airport with him and a business partner. He explained to me what he did. He's a super nice guy. And he had a square body, and he was not happy with it at all. He said, I bit off more than I can chew. I don't know that a square body's for me, but I know I want one. But I watched everything, and I know you guys can make it better. So I'm told. Prove it to me. So we went into the showroom. We went across a lot of square bodies. We looked at a lot of things. His eye was on this, but he wasn't sold on it. So I put him in Brown Bear. I said, drive this. He drove this truck, and at the time, the belt was squealing. It was a hot-ass day. I was sweating, and the belt was squealing, so the AC wouldn't work right. He said, Jay, it drives like my other truck, and I didn't like my other truck. I said, well, hang tight. So I put him in Brown Bear. I said, it's the closest thing I've got to the size of this truck, the tire option that you want on this truck, go drive it. He came back. He said, Jay, if this truck drives like that truck, you got a deal, but you got to prove it to me. And you got 20 days to do it. Normally my answer is no. We're not going to meet a timeline. We're not going to take on that kind of stress. But I knew the things that could be done and needed to be done could happen. And it was a birthday surprise. Well, I guess it was a surprise. He was involved in it. So I took a desk. And here is where the main change was drivability. He did not like the drivability of his other square body. Square bodies don't drive good. They didn't drive good 40 years ago. They don't drive good today. Steering and track bar dialed this truck in. Now, he flew back up this morning. That was part of the deal. The truck will be delivered to him tomorrow for his birthday. We met the timeline. He flew up today. He said, I just want to go over it. Just in case there's some punch list items, I want to go over them with you, JW. I said, it's not a problem. We're good. Fly in. He was busy. I was busy in the office. He was out here. I got him a tag. I said, drive it. check it out. He came back. He said, yeah, you met my expectations and you exceeded them. He said, I had a high level of expectation, I'll be honest, but you exceeded them. I said, well, it wasn't me. I said, all the crew that did it, I coordinated it, but the crew did it. Every piece of the team did it. So the truck went to Kenny for the interior, which was another step. But let's finish up Davis off-road side because drivability was important. The steering and track bar at 4 inches is about the minimum height that it works. So this truck was ideal for that. Uh-oh. We might have changed gears for a minute. Listen to that. Felt good. The trim is done. I think it was a good choice. It really upgraded that truck. Bye-bye, AJ. AJ's taking that truck to the next step. It has come a long way. It has turned out good. And it is a tomato orange, beautiful square body that is not anymore coming soon. That truck's ready. Power steps, stripes done, service is done, inspections done, the doors are adjusted, all the little pet peeve things are finished. So really happy with that. Let's get back to this one. So turns out, tighten the belt, compressor is questionable. So we did end up replacing the compressor so there was no questionable parts to it any longer. We wanted it to run right, do right, and the AC is actually cooling on a 90-degree day down in the 40-degree temperature area. Pretty impressive. While it was at Kenny's, the dash had a cover on it. It was hard to tell, but it was there. So we did a complete replacement dash, and it got the gauges all upgraded. Not just needles or anything like that, all fresh gauges. It already had a retro radio, made sure all that worked. All the vents are hooked up working properly now. Behind the dash, that's obviously an issue. And this is a 6.0 swap truck, so it is a LS swapped vehicle, which is cool. It also got the door panels cleaned up. This truck had the wrong regulator in here. This thing stuck out a tremendous amount. That's much better. The locks all open and close like they're supposed to. The windows roll up nice and easy. You don't have to force yourself. The pockets are all nice. The door panels are dyed to match. The trim around here was redone. The visors were done. There was a lot of little things. Kenny's actually starting a board where he takes out sheet metal screws and drywall screws and replaces them with proper GM screws. He's going to have a big 4x8 piece of plywood probably screwed with so many screws that he saves. Just a little pet peeve thing. Power steps. So I got the power steps. That was another thing he said, if you think I need them, let's do them. We know he's flying in this morning. The exhaust took longer than expected. It was pulling in the parking lot to get washed as he was touching down in his plane coming here. We got it washed. The exhaust is done. This truck had what would have looked to the naked eye like a decent exhaust. It was almost 8 inches wrong on one side. One side exited here. The other side was at an angle. To the naked eye, it was acceptable. It was not acceptable. So if you look up under the back now, Trista, a request was to keep his spare tire. He has his spare tire, and he has nice, fresh exhaust. Oh, yeah, look at that. He also wanted Fox shocks. Now, I know, and I should have mentioned it right from the get-go, a lot of you guys are going to foo-foo on this tire and wheel. He wanted this tire and wheel. This is the tire and wheel he had on another truck. He was trying to replicate the other truck, but make a truck that he enjoyed. We got the exact tire and exact wheel he wanted, 35s, 20s. I know it's not for everybody, but don't fret. If this man wanted rally wheels, he would have got rally wheels. If he wanted pink and purple pinstriped 24s, we would have got him what he wanted. That's what he wanted. It does drive good. It does handle good. And he's got an up-to-date tire. So that's, again, personal preference. Fox shocks. And back to the steering and track bar. That was the most dialed in part that was done. And like I told him, he said, Jeb, I'm in business where we're manufacturing things and doing things. I understand. He said, I love following that y'all came up with that. And I said, if you knew how much time Brian and Daniel had in taking that off, tweaking it, putting it back together, tweaking it, adjusting it, trying it, riding with it to make sure it's right, you would understand. He said, I follow. I'm on track. I love it. It rides great. It drives great. He said, you hit it out the park. So on 20 days of turnaround, it went through a full exhaust upgrade, the power steps, the steering and track bar, the shocks, getting the tires and wheels in, which were not super easy. Tires not a problem. Wheels, a little bit harder. AC compressor, ordered, shipped, not a normal one. Truck cleaned, interior gone over, replacement dash, replacement gauges, adjusting the doors, redoing a lot of things around the doors, and the non-normal, not going to get it at Advanced Auto Parts compressor, making sure the truck ran out right, make sure the truck drove right, and checking off all the boxes. So I did open my mouth and insert my foot because we have to load this truck very soon to meet his arrival down south tomorrow. It needs to leave soon. But I said, what did you see that you would have liked to have been done that we may not have done? Thank goodness, because that answer could have been something that could not happen. But he said, JW, the only thing I can speak to would be, could you go around and replace the screws and change them over to black? Because they do rust a little bit and they streak a little bit. And nowadays, even stainless does not hold up like it used to. So over the next couple hours, we're going to replace all the external screws possible with black. Another thing, having Brown Bear here, this truck had silver screws in the trim. It looked like somebody just, the trim was loose and they screwed some screws in it. We see that all the time. It's a shame, but people will take a self-tapping screw to put a piece of trim on. Well, he assumed, he said, I wish somebody did a better job on the trim. He assumed that's what that was. Those are factory screws. They just were silver and you saw them. You don't see them now. You never know they're there. But thankfully, having Brown Bear here and being so perfect, I was able to walk over and I said, look, put your thumb right there. That screw's in the right spot. Put your thumb right there and your finger right there. That screw's in the right spot. He's like, you're right. Just changing to black. Yes, sir. So in a world where things do not always work out, and in a world where if we were on a TV show, we could have created all kinds of drama, like the tires didn't show up and the steps didn't fit, and timelines are real. We deal with them all the time. But I told him, I said, I stepped out. I normally do not accept the timeline situation, and I did. And I'm happy we did it. That was a lot to get done in that amount of time. It also got the oil changed and some fluids and things greased. Show it to him, Trista. Just a beautiful truck. And I'm thrilled with how it turned out and how the upgrades went. I'm pretty tickled. And you guys saw the orange truck, so that one will be soon. I think we got something working on this Jeep, but I'll show it to you while it's in the background real quick. That is a 1-ton Super 60 Dana axle Gladiator. And me and AJ and some of the people in the office had a bet on how long it was going to stay gone, because this customer changes trucks like he changes underwear. And sure enough, it's on the fence. I think it tied between me and AJ guessing, but he's on to another vehicle already. And this one we wrapped for him, tinted the windows. It's got a PA system. It's got a bed cover, power steps, upgraded exhaust, tires and wheels, a tuner. A crazy amount of stuff. But anyway, he's on to something else already, and that one's available. So let me give you an update on the McLaren, and then I got a couple more things for today. So in a world where I constantly say, if it's too good to be true, run, I stick my foot in my mouth once again doing that, because there are situations like this here. This Raptor we sold, I can't say new because we're not a Ford dealer, but we sold it with like 20 or 30 miles. We sold it as close to new as it could ever be. We accessorized it. It's been local. We know all the history. It's 50 grand now. It was over 100 when we sold it. Raptors are expensive, obviously. But this is cheaper than what I could go to the dealer auction. Dealer only auction, not a regular auction, dealer only. I could not buy that quality of Raptor for that price. So when people call, they're like, what's the catch? It's too good to be true. It's not too good to be true, but it is a great deal. So I guess I speak out of both sides of my mouth on that, but you can be comfortable. It's real. It's also clean history, clean auto check, clean service. It's just a great deal, and we do have those sometimes. The Denali's the same way. We try to price things very fair, but sometimes customers are a little leery. I've had 2 dealers call me about this, say, JW, what's the deal? Give me the skinny on it. I'm not skinny, and it's not skinny, and there is no deal. It's just a great deal, you know, for what it is. The customer was local. I didn't have to buy it at auction. I didn't have to send a buyer. I didn't have to send a transporter. So it's far better than it should be in pricing. So kind of neat. Well, guys, I drove the McLaren home. And I need to think that we have a YouTube channel, that a McLaren is not what you're here for. Because vehicles like this were what drives some of the biggest channels on YouTube. Not for us. You'd rather see a square body, and I know that. But I did drive it home. It's okay. It's a supercar. To me, it's a kind of like a new Corvette, a C8 Corvette. It is well balanced. It handles the curves good. I did get on it a fair amount, and it felt good. It runs good. Felt safe. Felt like you're in a cockpit. It's kind of like a race car. The kids thought it was the coolest when I got home and opened the door, because to them it's a Lamborghini, and I guess it does look like a Lamborghini. But no, these are not Lamborghini doors. They're McLaren doors. They operate the same. But cool car. Definitely a lot of bang for the buck. The McLarens have different models. Some of the models get into the millions and multi-millions in the McLaren line. This particular one is probably one of the best priced ones in the country. It's $125. Still a lot of money, but for a fairly late model supercar, it really is a lot of bang for the buck. And on top of it, I'd have to say this is the best deal in the country for one of these cars that does not have any accident or negative history. This car is Carfax certified, AutoCheck certified, and has been through the service shop 2,000 miles ago with, I think AJ said $15,000 spent on it in maintenance and a few little upgrades. So super cool car if you're looking for a sports car that's better than a sports car. Kind of neat. I give it a thumbs up, maybe a thumb and a half, but it's what I expected. It is a decent car. It does have good power. The turbos sound really cool, and it definitely got a lot of attention. I will say that. So McLaren, you're okay in my books. Not too bad. Basically on the same level as a Ferrari and Lamborghini. So that's pretty cool. So in ending, everything's going pretty well. We have been driving this like a daily driver. Air conditioning's working good. It looks like a freaking grandpa vehicle when we drive it, but it's a nice little cruiser. And we've had a lot of vehicles get sent out. We've had a lot of vehicles delivered. We have a couple vehicles currently out for delivery, and everything has been pretty successful. With anything, there's hurdles. There's delays. There's things that happen. Trailer across the road went through 6 tires of the 8, I think it was, on the last trip. There are hurdles in our business, but I've got to go in there now, and I got to order a seal to send to a customer. Truck perfect, sitting in the showroom. Not a leak in the world. Matter of fact, it's the truck I showed you guys that nothing was leaking. And sure enough, after him getting it home and driving it a little bit, it's got a grease seal from a rear wheel seal leaking. We're going to send him the part. He's taking care of it. It's, you know, it's fine. We try to work through all hurdles. Trucks are going to leak. Oh, that brings me to a good thing. Watching a video last night, and I fell asleep and woke up, and I will go back and watch it more thoroughly. But I guess when you fall asleep, your algorithm just keeps playing videos that they think you're going to like. And I thought I dreamed it, but I watched enough of it to understand. It was about old vehicles. This is a restoration shop, and they just finished $200,000 of billable labor on a car. But it was a very original car, and the owner said Don't mess with the motor and transmission. It's fine. Just leave it alone. Its numbers matching. The shop said, look, while we have it out, it's the perfect time to do seals and gaskets and other things. And he said, no, we already, like, I'm spent and spent and spent, but all it was accounted for, so he wasn't complaining. But sure enough, they got the car finished, $200,000 worth of restoration work, and they go home, and they come out the next day to a huge puddle on the floor, and a gasket had let go, a seal had let go. I want to go back and watch the rest of the episode. And the customer, so like TV shows always are, there was a little bit of controversy, customer upset. Customer shouldn't have been upset. He specifically said, don't touch the motor. And just like in these vehicles, we don't pull the motors out, and we don't pull the transmissions out, and we don't pull the differentials down unless it's a full torn apart 5-year build. So things do happen, and that's what reminded me I need to say that in this video, because it does happen. And we've got a couple situations like that right now where customers have driven them more. The trucks may not have been driven. Good news is it's little seals, it's little gaskets. The labor's worse than the part, but it can be resealed and things can be done. But it does happen. These vehicles are old. Otis, for example, customer decided he wanted to pop the valve covers off. Inside there, the mechanic said, this freaking thing was clean. And I would expect it at 19,000 miles. It's still to have a little bit of dirt and debris. Dirt's not the right word, but they want to do valve seals. Valve seals are on the valve where the valve goes in and out, and they corrode. Well, over time they crumble because they're rubber, and they do come apart. They wanted to put new valve seals in. They put new valve seals in it. The motor was crystal clean inside. It was great. But just a reminder, as always, as these vehicles are older, things like that do happen. So we don't like it, but it does. So anyway, we're done for today. It's a beautiful day in Richmond, Virginia. I don't know where you're watching this world, but thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Trista's putting that little click at the end. I saw it last night, Trista. Good job. I caught it because I watched the video. Thank you for that. Thanks for all the subscribing. The numbers are climbing again. Please take the time to do it. We're not going to sell you anything. We're not going to send you anything. We just want you to be our friend on there and be a subscriber so that we can continue to trend up and show you guys all the cool stuff that happens here in our little small town of Chesterfield/Richmond, Virginia at Davis Auto Sales 50-year anniversary. Thanks a lot.